It is an incontrovertible fact that strong muscles are big muscles. To put it another way, the heavier the weights you lift for several reps in an exercise, the larger the muscles will be that contract to move the weight. Therefore, all champion bodybuilders train as heavily as they can in strict form using basic exercises during an off-season cycle. Some champion bodybuilders actually compete at a high level in powerlifting during their off-season cycles. I was a powerlifter for a couple of years just before I began to make my mark at the national level in bodybuilding. Scott Wilson, Mr. International, Pro Mr. America, and a Pro Grand Prix champion, holds a master's rating in powerlifting, and Dr. Franco Colombo, twice Mr. Olympia, was a European champion who set several world records in powerlifting. While a minority of superstar bodybuilders compete in powerlifting or weightlifting meets, all of the most massive champs are phenomenally strong. To give you a few examples, Arnold Schwarzenegger, 7-time Mr. Olympia, has performed a deadlift with 750 pounds. Lou Ferrigno, twice Mr. Universe, bench presses with 550 pounds. Casey Viator, the youngest Mr. America, incline presses with nearly 500 pounds. Lee Haney, Mr. America, Mr. Universe, and a leading pro bodybuilder, can do barbell bent rows with 400 pounds. Berto Fox, 3-time Mr. Universe, does 8 reps in the seated press behind neck movement with 335 pounds. I recently had Gold's Gym purchase a pair of 180-pound dumbbells so I could toss around a little heavier iron in my incline dumbbell press. I hope I've convinced you that you have to train for power in the off season if you truly desire to build huge, ripped to shreds muscles. And the best way to train for strength without running the risk of injury is to pyramid your weights and reps on each basic exercise that you use in your power workouts. In a true pyramid, you should add weight to the bar and progressively reduce the number of reps you perform with each succeeding set of an exercise. Repeat the process in the opposite direction by removing weight and increasing your reps each set until you return to the starting point. However, I've always used and highly recommend a half pyramid in which you work up in weight and down in reps until you reach your peak poundage, then drop back for only 1 or 2 high rep sets. The following is an example of how you could pyramid your weights and reps in the bench press. The weights listed have been arbitrarily chosen only for the sake of illustration. If you are prone to injury, you should probably go no lower than 3 to 5 reps on each set. And you should definitely avoid doing single repetitions to show off your strength to your gym mates. Even if you have never had a problem with injuries, you should never attempt to lift an unusually heavy weight. Limit single effort more frequently than once every 2 or 3 weeks. For bodybuilders, limit singles in any exercise are of very little value beyond a brief ego gratification. It has been determined that single reps build no muscle mass, just muscle contractile force and greater strength in ligaments, tendons, and other connective tissues. And the risk of injury when trying to hit a max single is greatly magnified. Even if you don't incur a traumatic injury that is immediately painful, very heavy single lifts can initiate a degenerative condition of the articulating surfaces of your body's major joints. However, moderately heavy weights lifted in perfect form for more than 2 or 3 reps following a good warm-up will not harm your joints, and they will build massive muscles. This last fact hits at the core value of using a pyramid system in your off-season workouts. A good pyramid allows you to warm up thoroughly before you attack the heavy muscle-building sets of 6, 4, and 2 reps. Used with basic exercises, pyramid power training to muscle failure and often past the point of failure, and working out consistently, all of which are explained in greater detail later in this chapter, can give you an astounding physique. Over the years, I've observed that bodybuilders can increase their training poundages beyond their wildest dreams. The first time I arranged my reps and poundages in a pyramid in my squat workouts, I added 10 to 15 pounds per week to each set for almost 6 months, which resulted in an unbelievable increase in my thigh mass. You can definitely expect big muscle gains when you use the power of the pyramid in your off-season workouts. In order to avoid injuries, you should do all of your mass and power building exercises regardless of how heavy the weight is in strict form. The only exception to this rule is when you do 1 or 2 cheating reps. Cheating is explained in detail later in this chapter, after a full set of strict reps taken to the point of momentary muscle failure. At the competitive level of bodybuilding, there are 2 main causes of injuries: using poor form and trying a heavy exercise after you have rested too long and allowed your body to cool down. You can remove these causes of injuries simply by maintaining correct exercise form and not allowing your body to cool down between sets.